Our next speaker is Meryl Jones, Head of Business Development at St Barbara Limited. Meryl is a geologist with over 30 years of mining industry experience, including in a variety of senior roles with Forsyth, Plutonic and Sons of Gwalior. Prior to joining St Barbara, Meryl was Exploration Projects Manager with Straits Resources. She has particular experience in leadership, portfolio optimisation, strategic development and business improvement. Meryl is very active in the education space. She is a member of the Governing Council of North Metropolitan TAFE, an Executive Director at not-for-profit Earth Science Western Australia, and is founder and patron of Get Into Resources Incorporated. In 2018, Meryl was announced as one of the top 100 global inspirational women in resources, which is an amazing achievement. Please welcome Meryl.
Thank you, Courtney, for the introduction, and good afternoon, everyone. Yes, I'm Meryl Jones and I am with St Barbara, but as some of you would already know, last Friday was my last day as the Head of Business Development for the company. I'll soon be heading off on secondment to Canada to lead our Atlantic operations there. Nonetheless, it is with pleasure and a little sadness that I will take you through the St Barbara presentation today, our pathway to 3 operations with greater than 10 years of mine life. Please note the usual disclaimer, and this presentation will be available later this afternoon both on the St Barbara website and on the ASX. I would like to begin by recognising the traditional owners and First Nations people of the lands on which St Barbara operates, both here in Australia, in Canada and in Papua New Guinea, and pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Safety is central to everything we do at St Barbara, and I'd like to sadly but openly discuss the fatality we had at our Simberi operations in May of this year. One of our truck drivers was fatally injured when the truck they were driving travelled over a safety berm and eventually rolled over into one of the open pits. All of St Barbara was deeply saddened by this tragic incident, and we've been providing assistance to the employee's family and counselling support for the Simberi team. They remain in our hearts. There were 2 other recordable injuries last quarter, both of which were low severity. Every day, everyone at St Barbara is working at eliminating fatalities and life-changing injuries. This is our number 1 priority, and we remain completely committed to our goal of 0 harm. And so a quick recap on our production results for the last financial year. Group-wide, we produced 327,000 ounces of gold at an all-in sustaining cost of $1,616 Australian. Our Atlantic operations recorded their highest mill throughput rate in Q4 as a result of initiatives from our Building Brilliance program. Leonora had the highest tonnage of ore milled in the last quarter of FY21 since 2016, both fantastic results. Simberi was also on track for a positive year, but unfortunately the fatality in May and the damage to our deep sea tailings pipe resulted in the operation shutting down 6 weeks early. This financial year we're looking to produce between 305 and 355,000 ounces of gold at an average all-in sustaining cost of between $1,710 and $1,860 an ounce. This year's guidance has also been affected by the Simberi operations, which will not return to full production until the second quarter. Into the future, our strategy is to develop 3 operations with productive mine lives of greater than 10 years. In an industry where the average life of gold mines is now less than 7 years, and the time to develop new mines is often greater than 15 years, we believe that we will have a distinctive advantage by having 3 mines with lives of greater than 10 years. Today's presentation will frame how we intend to achieve this at each of our operations. We'll run through our plans at Leonora, where in the last quarter we released an update on the progress of the Leonora Province Plan, adding around 1.4 million ounces to our existing 5 million ounces of gold in mineral resources. We'll also discuss the work we've been doing at our Atlantic operations to bring the first of several satellite deposits into production. Finally, I'll walk you through the progress we've made on converting our processing plant at Simberi into a sulfide plant to extend its life past 2030. Last year we launched our Building Brilliance program, which is a central driver to delivering on our strategy of 3 operations with a minimum of 10 years mine life. The program has encouraged everyone to review processes and to ask, how can this be done better? During Uplift 1, which is the first 18 months of the program, we're focused on stabilising our current operations. This involves generating and executing ideas and initiatives in 3 main areas. The first is to reduce absolute operating costs. The second is to get more out of our existing plant and equipment by improving productivity rates. And finally, we're deploying our technical expertise to improve recoveries. The second phase of the program, or Uplift 2, runs for the next 3 years. Uplift 2 focuses on the execution of brownfields expansion projects to grow the ounces we can profitably mine. For Simberi, this is our sulfide project. At Atlantic, it's the first of our satellite deposits at Beaver Dam. And at our flagship Leonora operation, it's about filling the mill. The final phase of our Building Brilliance program, Uplift 3, will look at exploration opportunities and acquiring assets which are scalable, where we can leverage our existing infrastructure and create portfolio synergies. So let's start at Leonora. At Leonora, our strategy is to fill the mill. The Building Brilliance program has encouraged everyone to look at their work areas with an owner's mindset. Dare I say it, but Gwalia is also one of the grand old ladies of the goldfields, having been in production and around for almost 125 years. One of the most successful recent outcomes at Gwalia has been the commissioning of an extensive underground Wi-Fi network. We've seen the Wi-Fi enable various productivity improvements in this deep trucking mine. One example is tele-remote drilling through the shift changes, which has dramatically increased equipment utilisation. Another initiative looked at ways to reduce total paste fill curing time in a mine stope by reducing the number of pours required to fill that stope. This has resulted in shorter stope cycle time. Another initiative has been a focus on reducing the number of hole cleans and re-drills by using just-in-time drilling for top-level down drill programs in double and triple lift stopes. The Wi-Fi has also improved safety conditions by broadening the use of remote capabilities. One of the key drivers of performance at Gwalia is the number of development fronts. And you can see here that there's been a considerable change from the start of FY21 to where the year ended. As more fronts open up underground, the team are better able to manage equipment utilisation and are able to work in multiple areas. This has been a key restriction at Gwalia in the past. The underground Wi-Fi has enabled implementation of better short-term interval control by obtaining real-time data, equipment utilisation, and to better coordinate equipment underground. In simple terms, our team leaders now know in real time where the equipment is and when it's not being fully utilised, which allows them to make real-time decisions to ensure that equipment doesn't remain idle for long. We've also looked at ways of safely increasing the speed at which we establish our ground support. By replacing static cable bolts with self-drilling anchors, we've reduced development cycle time. The team has also improved development cut length by implementing alternative detonators which better utilise the explosive properties and increase the blasting depth of each cut face. These incremental gains have seen an increase in the number of development fronts from 11 at the start of last financial year to 24 in June, with the aim of achieving 30 next year. Current mining at Gwalia is in the deeps, at greater than 1,100 metres below surface and down to about 1,760 at the present time. We're now assessing the potential in the upper portion of the mine between 400 metres below surface and 1,100 metres below surface, some of which had been mined previously when the gold price was considerably less than it is now. We're particularly focused on the upper portions of West Lode, known as Old West Lode, and the South Gwalia series, also known as the Old South Gwalia series. The purple section on this slide is the Gwalia intermediates, which most of you would have heard about. The intermediates have already been incorporated into the Gwalia mine plan and will be included in the end-of-year reserves and resources update, which is due for release on the 26th of August this year. So development work to access the intermediates will also be commencing in this financial year. Tower Hill and Harbour Lights are known deposits within 5 kilometres of the Gwalia plant. On the image here, Tower Hill is in the foreground and Harbour Lights is in the background. A combined pre-feasibility study for Tower Hill and Harbour Lights is underway and will include options for potential mill expansions. In addition, as part of the study, refractory treatment options are being considered for Harbour Lights as that ore body is refractory. All of these studies are scheduled for completion in the 4th quarter of this financial year. To fill the Gwalia mill, we're exploring all options to source additional ore. Our focus is on opportunities that will deliver value to shareholders, be that tolling, ore purchases, acquisitions or joint ventures. This financial year, the Linden Gold Alliance arrangement will deliver a minimum of 180,000 tonnes of ore to the Gwalia plant and 90,000 tonnes in FY23, with the potential to achieve higher tonnages for a longer period under the arrangement. In early July, we acquired a strategic 19.8% equity position in Kin Mining, which has 1.2 million ounces of resources, all within 45 kilometres of our plant at Leonora. We believe there's further exploration upside potential within their package and look forward to supporting the Kin team to continue to build on the great exploration work that they've been doing out there. Transacting on smart opportunities like these and combining these with deposits that we already control and with our existing infrastructure is how we intend to fill the mill for the next decade and beyond. Exploration drilling is planned along the corridor between Gwalia, Tower Hill and Harbour Lights. It's also known as the Greater Gwalia area. There's also resource definition drilling planned at Tower Hill and Harbour Lights themselves, with a special focus on testing the high-grade extensions to known mineralisation, particularly at depth. We're already progressing targets in the Jasper area, located 20 kilometres north of our Leonora processing plant, and it's a photograph of the drill rig out there just recently. And we believe that this area also has further exploration upside potential. Last year, the Gwalia mill processed just under 750,000 tonnes of ore from the Gwalia mine. Due to all the improvements from Uplift 1 of the Building Brilliance program, we expect to process 1.3 million tonnes of ore in this year through a combination of increased mining output from Gwalia and from tolling and ore purchases. In FY23, this will rise to 1.4 million tonnes with less reliance on tolling and ore purchases. Our aspirational target for FY25 is 1.7 million tonnes. This will require upgrade work to the existing plant to get there. As you can see on this slide, we have a well-defined plan for our Leonora operations with key milestones falling due in the coming 2 years. We'll now turn to our Atlantic operations in Nova Scotia, Canada, and the project work we are doing there as we move towards developing a 10-year operating life. The Building Brilliance program at our Atlantic operations has already delivered a record-breaking mill throughput rates, seeing a 22% improvement since the start of FY20. This was achieved through a series of initiatives. The implementation of a larger gravity screen aperture to better enable separation of material led to a substantial debottlenecking of the gravity circuit. One of our frontline employees picked up that the angle of the spray bar in the trommel on the mill could be adjusted to better find screen material through the screen panels. We also increased the mill power draw to enable an increase in feed tonnes to the ball mill without negatively impacting on vibration. And it was initiatives like these, together with other minor modifications to the plant, that enabled us to achieve record throughput rates in Q4 of FY21. As mentioned earlier, the Building Brilliance program is about getting more out of our existing assets. At Tukoi, we've also been able to improve processing availability by 14%. Similarly, the maintenance team critically reviewed their maintenance program to determine how they could best maintain the plant while minimising shutdowns. We have now moved to condition-based shutdowns, resulting in more focused and coordinated activities based on the conditions of each area, with the benefit of also increasing mill availability. Recovery has also been a focus for the team. And with recovery, the target of 92% is based on a recovery model that forecasts expected recovery for any given grade. By installing downcomers in the CIL tanks, we were able to increase residence time, and improved cyanide and dissolved oxygen control has seen recovery improve from 92% to 94%, even with lower grade feed. Beaver Dam is the first satellite deposit we intend to develop. As the crow flies, it's 37 kilometres from the Tukoi processing plant. Our plan is to truck whole ore on both pre-existing and to-be constructed haul roads, and we're particularly interested in the opportunities to consider a minimum carbon footprint for the Beaver Dam site, and we'll be pursuing options in support of this in coming months. As per the original plan, when the Tukoi open pit finishes, we intend to convert the open pit into a tailings storage facility. We expect this pathway to be in place by the third quarter of this financial year. For Beaver Dam, we've submitted the revised environmental impact statement to the federal government and expect this to be approved by the end of the current financial year. In parallel, we're progressing the mining licence approval for Beaver Dam, and we anticipate also having this completed by the end of the third quarter of this financial year as well. After the environmental impact statement is approved, we'll apply for the requisite provincial industrial approval, which will allow us to commence construction and mining at Beaver Dam. At this stage, we're on target for first ore to be delivered from Beaver Dam in the first half of the 2024 financial year. We're also working on a number of permitting matters for 15 Mile Stream, located around 57 kilometres also from the Tukoi processing plant. In fact, the environmental impact statement for 15 Mile Stream was submitted to the federal government in February of this year. 15 Mile Stream will see us constructing a new processing plant on the site. The site will produce a gold slurry, which will then be trucked to Tukoi for further processing into doré. First gold production from 15 Mile Stream is on track for financial year 2025. Our exploration team in Nova Scotia remains invested in exploring for new opportunities beyond Beaver Dam and 15 Mile Stream. In the Moose River corridor, we are drill testing several targets immediately adjacent to and along strike from our known deposits. In the Northwest Regional area, we'll be drilling the highest ranked target in this coming financial year. Multiple targets have already been generated in the Southwest Regional area, which will be followed up this year with either first or second round drilling programs. And now we'll move on to our Simberi operations in PNG. For the next 2 years, Simberi will be mining and processing the remaining oxide material in the various ore bodies. We are continuing to drill 6 oxide targets on Simberi Island with the aim of defining additional inferred and indicated oxide resources capable of extending the life of the oxide operations. Initial drilling will target the areas of Cell Tower, Piggybow East and Beckow South, which have the greatest ability to contribute further oxide tonnes. As we progress to depth through the ore body at Simberi, the mineralisation transitions from the free-milling oxide material to refractory sulfide ores, necessitating a change in the processing pathway to produce gold. The production of doré on site under the current oxide processing flowsheet will give way to the production of a gold concentrate under the sulfide processing regime. The sulfide ore has a higher grade of ore than the oxide. We'll see a shift from an oxide ore which has an average grade of approximately 1.2 grams per tonne to sulfide ore at around about 2.4 grams per tonne. And by changing the flow sheet, we'll produce an attractive gold sulfide concentrate which is readily saleable and will yield strong returns. Initial capital expenditure for the sulfide project is $170 million US, including expansion capital, with a payback period of approximately 3 years. What makes the Simberi Sulfides expansion project particularly attractive from a mining perspective is that we can utilise much of the existing mining infrastructure and maintain the existing mining methodology, effectively progressing a simple deepening of the existing open pits. The average life of mine gold production for the Simberi Sulfide project will increase to approximately 160,000 ounces a year at an average all-in sustaining cost of $896 US an ounce over a period of 11 years. This delivers an internal rate of return of approximately 40%, with first ore being delivered in around 2 years' time. In addition to the mining lease on the eastern side of Simberi Island in the north, St Barbara also holds the regional exploration licence over the western half of Simberi Island and the 2 islands to the south, namely Big Tabar and Tatau. Exploration on the southern 2 islands under that exploration licence remains ongoing, with the primary target being the discovery of an economically significant porphyry copper-gold system. Turning now to our broader exploration and joint venture interests. Most of you would know that St Barbara has an active exploration portfolio outside of the shadow of the headframe. Within Australia, we've been steadily progressing the Pingeon and Back Creek exploration projects over a number of years, as well as the joint ventures we have at Lake Wells with APC here in WA and also the Dromartin joint venture project with Catalyst in Victoria. We continue to look for joint ventures and acquisitions in the exploration space, and so if you have a project that you're considering divesting or you're looking for a partner for, please do come and see us. In conclusion, we at St Barbara believe that we're in an enviable position of having 3 high-quality assets, all of which can easily achieve an operating life of greater than 10 years. Compared to an industry average life for gold mines that is now falling below 7 years, we're well placed to deliver strong returns for our shareholders, our people and our communities. The recent Leonora Province Plan work has added a further 1.4 million ounces of resources to the inventory, placing our Leonora operations on a trajectory to greater than 10 years or more of mine life. We've identified the satellite deposits at Atlantic, which will keep our operations there running for 10 years or longer. While at Simberi, we're moving into the higher grade sulfide mineralisation and planning for the conversion of our existing processing plant to deliver a further 10 years of operating life in PNG as well. These are exciting times at St Barbara, and we look forward to providing regular updates to you on the ongoing progress of our plans at each of our 3 operations. Thank you.
Thank you, Meryl. We'll open it up to the floor for any questions. In that case, we've had one come through on the text line. There are a number of exciting developments expected across the 3 assets, the Gwalia studies, the Simberi studies, and progression of permitting at Atlantic. Which one of these are you and the team most excited about?
Well, each of the teams are very excited about each of the projects. I think for me, probably the Leonora one is one that we've been working very hard on for quite some time, and we do believe that we've got the greatest opportunity to leverage not only opportunities within our existing organic portfolio there at Leonora, but also external opportunities as well. And so I think Leonora probably has got the opportunity for the greatest uplift in the shortest period of time. We look forward to it.
Great, thank you. Please put your hands together.